first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. Well, like the most of us here, I've got a few. So I wanted to take y'all down with me on a little ride down my Hall of Shame and just kind of tell y'all a few mistakes that I make currently now as an experienced rider. Now, with this video, I know I'm setting myself up for criticism and as a target, but this is the internet. That's the charm of it. So I'm all for the banter. I just kind of wanted to make this video for more of on the humor side. So I hope y'all like the video. Today I wanted to film from the garage, just kind of switch up the vibe a little bit. But yeah, let's get right into it. The first bad habit that we're going to cover that I make as an experienced rider is the lack of gear on the motorcycle. Now, I know we've all heard it all. We have heard every phrase in the book.
Act, all the gear, all the time. Dress for the slide, not just the ride. Live to ride, gear to survive. No gear, no glory. Ride hard, ride smart, always in gear. Cover up before you rev up. Ride it like you stole it, but gear up like you own it. Love at first ride, but safety gear makes it last. Slide into gear like you slide into DMs. From head to toe, safety should glow. Helmet here is better than I see you care. Slide in gear, not in tears. Grab it before you rev it.
I can hear it from here. Those typical Harley riders never wearing their gear. Oh! We've heard it all. Is it laziness? Is it ignorance? Maybe it's both. But sometimes I'll wear my vest. But I'll be honest here, wearing my vest, it's sort of like wearing a cloth face mask to try to prevent from catching a really strong flu. Feels like you're doing something to help, but in reality, it's not doing much or if anything at all. But at least it looks good. And now, in no means am I making fun of people who wear full gear. They are doing the 100% right thing. And I know when I get back in the sport bike field, I do want to be all geared out. I'm paying the price for the choices I make, and so does everyone else who does the same. At least I'll wear a helmet. Bad habit number 2 that I do on the motorcycle is not always using these fancy lights on the back that sometimes blink one way or sometimes blink that way. I see I got little buttons to activate them, but I'm pretty sure they're there just for decoration. But no, in all seriousness, I don't really use my turn signals much. I will sometimes, like when I look back, I'll check, I'll put my hand out, put my foot out. Is it for just the speed of convenience? It's just really much quicker on the motorcycle to just go ahead and do that. I will be honest, not every single time will I signal with a hand or foot, but just about most of the time. I do want to be a little bit, respectful to the other drivers in the road. But I know I'm not the only one who doesn't use their turn signals. But I will tell you, if the 5-0 is behind me, that turn signal will be on way earlier than it probably should be. So I know I'm capable of using these decorative little lights that I have on the back of my bike. So yeah, that's that. The third bad habit that I do as a motorcyclist who is experienced is not doing a pre-trip inspection before every single ride. We all know we're supposed to. Now, I do once a month like to do a thorough, about once a month, just to be rough, but I do like to do a thorough look around on the bike just to know what state it's in and what its condition, and especially when I do service my motorcycle, I do an in-depth overall look. But before I hop on the ride, the majority of my pre-trip inspection consists of checking my fuel level and being like, all right, it's a Sportster, I gotta get gas. But it is important. I will tell you, when I was a Harley mechanic, just about every single motorcycle that came into the shop had low tire pressure, and a huge chunk of them had a significantly low number where I would put in the work order notes, this bike had 15 PSI. I get it. We all just want to hop on the bike and get riding. We don't want to
check the tires, check our spokes, check our brakes, check for leaks on the forks, on the bike, check our brake, make sure the brake lights are working, turn signals, the horn, the headlight, checking our belt or our chain, checking to see if all our critical fasteners are, tightened to spec, checking our battery, oil, primary, if you have transmission fluid levels or coolant levels, checking the hoses to make sure they're not cracked, not bent, have leaks in it or bulges, checking our throttle, making sure our throttle is reactive properly, checking our clutch cables.
I would love to meet someone who does that before every single ride. Now, I get it. If you're about to go on a really long ride, I get that. That is the smart thing to do. However, in all reality, I definitely know I'm not the only one who does that. The fourth bad habit that I do as a motorcyclist is lane splitting. There are people who do justify the reasons why they lane split. Some are for it, some are against it. There's definitely the aspect of, you avoid, getting rear-ended if you're in traffic, but then you also put yourself at risk of someone who's not paying attention and then, they switch lanes without seeing you and you get hurt. But then, I've heard some riders, well, drivers should always be on the lookout for motorcyclists, so it's on them. And then the other one is, the less stress on your bike if you're in traffic, just not, not having to ride the clutch, when you're going those slow speeds in traffic. So there are some justifications of why people did it. I just kind of did it to get from point A to point B faster. And I know a lot of people do it for that reason too. And I don't know where my stance is on it, whether if this is a bad thing or not. I do understand the dangers that come with it, but just about anything that is in this video or anything that people do that has a risk in it, we understand the risk-reward, ratio that we're facing. So, yeah, I get some people are really against it, and I can understand why. I truly do. I see both sides on this one. But I will put it in this video because I have done it in the past, just not recently. I haven't had the need to. Not that there's ever a need to, but you know what I'm saying. Now, there's no need for us to cover the fifth bad habit that I have done or / do currently as a motorcyclist. If I were to cover it, it would be about speeding, but, there's no need to cover it. So we're just going to go on to bad habit number 6. The sixth bad habit that I do as a motorcyclist currently is dancing and standing on my motorcycle. And no, I don't do stunts yet. I would like to eventually, once the budget gets a little bit roomier and I can get a motorcycle, I don't mind dropping. However, I do understand that this is something that comes with a much higher risk of getting hurt. And I'm very much aware of the conscious choice I make to be able to get that reward and the risk that comes with it. And it's not just about being reckless. There's, besides the adrenaline and the fun that comes with it, I do like pushing myself and my boundaries, pushing my skills and capabilities to a little bit further and further to what I think I can do. And honestly, I like the attention that comes with it. I like that, people get a kick out of it and it makes them, smile or laugh or record it and whatnot. So it makes a good time for everyone. I've made my bed and I will lay in it. There are people who will say, the fun isn't worth, the potential risk of getting hurt, and it's only fun until you get hurt. I get it. I've heard it all. But this is something I choose, and I already can hear it from far away is, the risk aspect of it and how it's reckless and careless. But I'm making that choice of my own. I'm just being transparent about it now. Now, the seventh thing on this list is not really a bad habit. It was just kind of a really big mistake that I made once. And it's kind of a one-time mistake people make. And I was one of the people who done it. And I definitely on this one do think I was truly, truly wrong. And I would actually kick myself in the butt for it if I could. But as my first sport bike a few years ago, I got a leader bike, 1000cc motorcycle, the Honda CBR 1000, being a year into riding motorcycles. And I will tell you, that is a stupid thing to do. Luckily, I didn't get hurt. But other people weren't as lucky as I was. I'm telling you, the ego is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing, but it doesn't mean it's a good thing. Now, unless Valentino Rossi himself gave birth to you somehow, I really don't think it's a good idea. It's stupid. It's just stupid. I remember, so I used to meet up with these sport bike riders. We would, meet up and then ride from place to place and whatnot. And then on the highways, we would sometimes do races. But while we're at the meetup spots, people kind of talked about their bike or, where they're from, because there's a big military presence. So there's a lot of people from a lot of different places there. And one guy, it was his very first motorcycle, first time riding, just learned how to ride through the safety course. But because he had that military paycheck, he went and got an H2. And I remember when he had said that, oh, this is my first bike, I had never ridden before. People were, at first we were gawking at his H2, like, oh, you got an H2. But then once he started talking, he spilt out the beans that is his very first motorcycle. He just started riding. And I remember we all just kind of looked at each other like, you can't ride with us, dude. We do not want to see you get killed. Yeah, don't do it. It's like, you might think it's cool, but it's really not. Like, anyone can sit on the bike and just turn down that throttle and go fast. But what you do afterwards, that's where skill comes in. How you handle emergency situations, how you handle quick maneuvers and turns. It's more than just opening the throttle up. And now the eighth bad habit that I do as a experienced motorcyclist, and I think I'm not the only one who's guilty of this, but it is to be always looking at motorcycles on Facebook Marketplace that I cannot afford. It's like 9 o'clock at night and you're laying in the bed and then you see that beautiful custom painted CPR 600 that someone is selling for $7,000 that is only about 15 years old. And you're like, man, that he overpriced that one right there. But if I had the money, I would negotiate for that bike. You just start, then before you know it, it's like midnight and you can't buy a motorcycle. You just got to close Facebook Marketplace and acknowledge the fact that not today, buddy, and not tomorrow, and most likely not this month. Hopefully this year, though. Now, with showcasing my Hall of Shame and the bad habits that I do as a rider, I am in no way trying to justify them. I'm fully okay and aware of the potential risk that I set myself up for. I fall short. We all fall short in some places, sometimes unknowingly, sometimes knowingly and purposefully, but it is what it is. And we all make that measurement of, is the reward worth the risk that comes with it? And we all have our own scale for it. And whatever your scale or my scale or whoever's, whatever it may be, that's okay. And that's kind of and with this video, that's just kind of what I wanted to do, is just showcase where I fall short, even when I purposely do it. But I really hope y'all like this video. If you want to showcase or share your bad habits that you do knowingly as a motorcyclist, beginner or not, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe for more motorcycle content from bike reviews, moto vlogs, and much more. Otherwise, y'all stay safe, and I hope y'all have a really great day. I still got a little bit of juice in there.